After almost 250 episodes, Will and Grace is coming to a close. The series finale airs on April 23rd, and all of us are going to miss the face of Sean Hayes as the role of Jack McFarland. I'm Tony Ruiz of Gold Derby. And Sean, I think, it's very rare that a show is successful, has a successful run, comes back, has another successful run. So I guess I want to know first, does this ending feel different than the last ending?
I mean, for me, it does a little bit, only because it really is final. There was always a tiny little sense that, this wasn't done before. But, and now that I'm older, a little bit older, and hopefully, knock on wood, a little wiser, I try to be, that the gratitude is much more, I feel the gratitude much more. And not that I wasn't grateful before, but at this juncture of my life, it's like, wow, what a special thing to be a part of. I'm just more sensitive to the self-awareness that I have. So I'm very grateful to the fans. And it was a little deeper this time.
So when this show came back, I think, for a lot of us that have been fans of the show, we all wanted to see where the characters had come. When you came back into it, was there something specific that you, a certain place you wanted to go with Jack that maybe you didn't get to explore in the first series?
Yeah, for sure. I wanted Jack to mature because I wasn't 25, 26, whatever years old anymore. And when the first day of rehearsal for the reboot, I was like, oh wow, this requires a lot of energy. I forgot about that. And so I wanted him to be a little bit older and have a little more responsibility. And with that, I always suggested that he get married and have some kind of evolution to his maturity. And so that seemed logical and natural. So we did that.
Which brings me to just this amazing pairing of you and Brian Jordan Alvarez, who plays Stefan Gloria, with one of the most amazing names for a character ever. Was that chemistry between you two just instantaneous? Because you could believe that these two, as wacky as they are just so kind of connected to each other. Talk about your working relationship with Brian.
Yeah, when I found out it was Brian, Jordan Alvarez, first of all, I have to say, truly, I think he's a genius. I think he is a comedy genius. I just am so impressed by his timing. And, when you see somebody and you think that, somebody's talented as him, you think that, boy, they were really born to do this. And he really is. And, but I saw his audition tape for Saturday Night Live, and I was blown away. I'm like, how is this guy not on Saturday Night Live? Every character he did and he does, is so unbelievably different. And I hadn't seen that since, Mike Myers or Dana Carvey or, some of those brilliant ones, cast members that from long ago. And we went out to dinner and we immediately hit it off before we started working together, just to say hi and get to know each other. And I looked forward to every single time we had a scene together, and every time I knew he was going to be in an episode. I just love him, and I think he's just incredible.
Do you have a favorite? I know I do, but do you have a favorite Stefan Jack moment?
Oh gosh, yes, I do. He made me laugh so hard when he said, let me see if I can remember the line. Then why do I hear the sound of my beloved cuckoo clock? And a cuckoo clock. It was, then why do I hear the sound of my beloved cuckoo clock? But the way he does it, and then why do I hear the sound of my beloved cuckoo clock? And that, just the musicality of the way he said that line made me laugh so hard every time. And the commitment in his eyes is so intense. It's so funny.
See, I assumed you were either going to say that one or maybe the Ryan Phillippe episode. And Ryan Phillippe is just genius in that episode. The three of you in that airplane bathroom, which must be like the bathroom of dreams, because not for the reason you think, but what airplane bathroom is that big?
Yeah. Well, I thought you meant because of the Mile High Club, but go ahead.
Well,
Blanks.
With those types of scenes, I always wonder, how do you keep a straight face? Is it easier? Is it harder now that you've been playing it for a long time? Is it easier? How do you do it?
Yeah, well, the answer is you don't. You don't. I mean, there are outtakes, I think, from that. We laughed. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard with Brian Jordan Alvarez's face that close to mine. I know it looks like a big bathroom on the TV screen, but the proximity of the actual bathroom set was so tiny. And you have me and Brian and Ryan. It was hilarious. It was just endlessly. We couldn't get through like 3 takes in a row. We were laughing so hard.
So with this show, you're in the unique position of having the same director for every single episode. And, I cannot go through an interview with one of you without asking about Jim Burroughs. In the times that I've been on set and watched tapings, the way he just kind of prowls in the background, he's almost never watching a monitor. He's, I've seen him kick the camera 2 inches to change a shot. And I'm like, how does he do that? What's been the relationship over the last, couple of decades working with Jim Burroughs?
Well, he's like the dad I never had. He's everything to me. I love him so much. Everything I know, I learned from him. Every single thing I know now. Sure, I went in with, my comedy 101 that I learned from college or whatever, but he taught me everything I know. And, when he's walking around not watching a scene, he's listening to the rhythm of the lines to make sure that the comedy is there. And if you are about to screw up a line, he can anticipate. He's so in your head that he can actually anticipate you screwing up a line before you know you're going to screw up a line, and he stops you so that the audience, so you don't ruin the joke for the audience. So they don't hear it jarbled, that they hear it clean the first time, so that the laugh is there. And it's just like a science. And there's no other way to describe his work or how he does what he does without having to be there. It's like you have to see it to believe it. He's just a master.
And you talk about the audience, and I've been in tapings before, and you guys really do seem to feed off of that audience energy. And you're very interactive with the audience even during the show. What's it in this time where it seems like multi-camera sitcoms are, not necessarily as common as they once were? What do you think that art form has that you can't achieve in any other type of television?
Well, it's theater, and that's all it is. It's a live show in front of a live audience, and the only thing that's in between you and the audience are those cameras to capture what's happening. And so it's no different than theater. And the thing that the 4 of us have in common on the show, the 4 actors, is that we all have a theater background. So we understand the beats and the music and the rhythm and the feeling and the sensibility of playing to a live audience, which is what you're doing. So I don't think sitcoms are dead. I just think good ones are. And, and we're going to keep trying to make good ones. And, if everybody knew what made a hit show, every show would be a hit. So it's all constantly experimenting and trying really hard. But that's what I associate the show with, is theater.
And theater has really been something that you've constantly kind of gone back to. And you hosted the Tony Awards. You won an Emmy for hosting the Tony Awards. Does the does the flexibility that you have now, I mean, are you drawn to projects based on the type of project that is, whether it's television or theater, or do you just go for the material first?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I'm at a point in my life where I just want to make things that I'm proud of and that I want to do. You know, before it's all about doing anything and everything just to work and get a job. And I've been fortunate enough to be on a hit show where I'm not scraping pennies as much as I was. So I develop a lot of things for myself because I don't think what people know what to do with me, and rightfully so, when all they know is the character of Jack, you know. So I'm doing a play, but, you know, pending the pandemic we're in the middle of. I'm supposed to do a play where I play Oscar Levant, which is George Gershwin's best friend, and a couple other things that's pretty cool. A Netflix series called Q Force, which is basically gay James Bond. You know, so yeah, I do things that come from my company, Hazy Mills Productions, mostly. Not that I'm not open to getting offers or anything, but it doesn't really happen. So I kind of have to write my own thing or develop my own thing.
I remember when you won your Emmy, you had said, one of the first things you said in your acceptance speech was, you know, they don't give you a book on how to do this. So yeah. If you could write the book for how to accept an Emmy that you could give to your younger self,
oh my God,
what would be in it?
Yeah, one sentence, write something. Because when I got up there to excuse me, when I got up there to accept the award, to this day, I don't know if you've seen it, but my speech, I'll never forget it because it's such a horrible sentence. I said, because I was so nervous, you know, when you get up there, I said, and thanks to the writers for putting funny things in our mouths. And I left out the words to say. For putting funny things in our mouths to say. So, but, you know, it was kind of washed over very quickly. So I don't think a lot of people, recognized my mistake. But yeah, I would say write something beforehand, even if you're not going to win. Just have something in mind what you're going to say, because I didn't, and it was a mess.
Well, I don't think it was a mess, quite frankly, because I thought you were very gracious, talking about your mom and thanking David Hyde Pierce for nominating you the year before.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Did you and David Hyde Pierce ever talk about that?
Oh yeah, my gosh, yeah, he's such a nice, kind man. I remember sitting on the couch watching the Emmys, you know, my pajamas, whatever, and sweats or t-shirt or something, and he said, you know, in his acceptance speech, he said, Sean Hayes should be standing here. And I was like, you know, it's such a crazy sensation to be watching that at home and hearing your name, as you know, in somebody else's speech. So I thought that was so kind of him. And then there I was a year later. So I have to think that had something to do with it. And I'll always be grateful to him. And yes, we've spoken about it many times. He's a good man.
So with the landscape of television changing, what do you as a fan just really enjoy watching? What's on your queue? And I won't say one network or the other.
Yeah. Oh gosh, you know, we watch a lot of movies. We don't really watch a lot of TV. I don't know if that's because I make TV shows, you know, I produce shows as well. So we make them, and I'm not really rushing home I'm not a TV junkie like I was when I was a kid, you know. But that said, I like documentaries. What am I watching? I mean, everybody asks me that. I have such a hard time coming up with an answer. I watch a lot of This Old House on PBS. I have since I was a kid.
Oh, so do I.
I love that show. There's something so comforting about it. So I watched that. Watch Making the Cut, the new Heidi Klum, Tim Gunn thing. We're big fans of those guys. And I just watched Breaking Bad last year.
Really?
That was amazing. Newsflash. You know.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but catch up, Sean.
I know. I'm so bad. I'm so behind so many things. If I told you the names of the shows that I've never seen, it would shock you. It shocks me.
God. Oh, that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah. Or never.
Or never. At least not on these airwaves. So looking back now, of course, we're in this very troubled time. But Will and Grace really has been a kind of a harbinger of a lot of movement in the LGBTQ community, and I just wonder, now that you have some at least distance from this version of it, do you think that legacy has changed? Do you think that legacy has strengthened? What do you think about that?
The legacy of the show, you mean?
Yes.
I think, the legacy is the legacy, whether we did 1,000 more episodes or one more episode. It accomplished what it did and needed to the first go around, I believe. That said, I think there always needs to be a voice out there constantly reminding people that the LGBTQ community are just as human as any other human being. So whether that's us doing a reboot or not, or whether it's Modern Family with the gay couple there, or whoever or wherever it is, I think we constantly need that to educate America about the normalcy of being human. And so I can't wait to see who does it next. I mean, there's other things that are doing it now anyway, like Pose and whatever, but so I can't wait. I get excited every single time something new comes out that represents the LGBTQ community in a positive light.
And last question, what is your favorite Jack moment? Do you have one? Or is that even possible?
On any show, on any episode?
Sure.
Yeah, probably the one called Coffee and Commitment, where I had to memorize a 2-page monologue and come in when I was high on caffeine. And I rattled on so quickly this whole monologue. And then later in the episode, Megan as Karen, had to give up. So I had to give up caffeine and she had to give up alcohol. And we were both going crazy and we ended up slapping each other. And that was, I think, one of the first times we had an extended kind of slap fight, which then became, a signature of the show. And, but that first time, I watched that clip now and it still makes me laugh. I also, one of the hardest times I've laughed with Deborah is an outtake where I have to play her mother and I flick her in the chin and we're role playing so she can confront her mother. That makes me laugh. So me and Deborah laughed so hard that day. And then Eric and I laugh constantly at work and outside of work. I mean, it's just, it's such a joy. I'm so lucky. I'm the luckiest person alive. Believe me, I'm well aware of it. And I think about it almost every day.
Well, we will certainly look forward to the finale, somewhat hesitantly looking forward to the finale, but it's just been a wonderful ride. And everybody go to goldderby.com, make your predictions for the Emmys. And Sean Hayes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tony. It was a pleasure.